So if you don't remember, a while ago, we used to have the Mooncat glitch, and pretty much, adjust my mic, the way this works was you would have an alt account, view the Mooncats in your garden, and your Mooncats, pretty much the way it would work is they have an ability, or a passive, where they'll sleep by a plant, and what'll happen is they would increase the growth size of that plant by almost 2x at max level. Now, this would be even better if, you could use both the mutations and pet gear. But the only downside to this is it's pretty hard to do this glitch because they patched being able to view the Mooncat specifically and its abilities with alt accounts. So that direct overpowered ability has long been gone. But there has been a new way to do this ability, and it does not take an alt account. And you can also take advantage of these pet mutations and pet gear. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can do this and all of it in general. And also, as a note, these are the past people who have subscribed and liked my videos. So if you want to be just like them in the next video, make sure you do like this video and subscribe. But starting off with the first system. So obviously you're going to need Mooncats, and my Discord server has a lot of people trading them pretty frequently. So you can check out my Discord server. That'll be in the description. Additionally, we have a stock notifier that'll notify you on the seeds, eggs, gear, cosmetics, weather events, right? All this crap. You can check that out as well. But starting off for the basics. So you're going to need at least one Mooncat. Multiple obviously is better, but pretty much only one is going to be necessary. So I have a few. And also, if you are wanting, I'll give away one of them. Why not? To the winner of the giveaway. If you want a Mooncat for this method, I will give it to the winner. To enter into the giveaway, just comment your username on this video. And to start off, for starters, what we're going to be doing is with the Mooncat, you're going to put it down, obviously. And so it'll walk around to your plants and all this. So we're going to be comboing this with the sprinkler method. So the way this is going to work is you're going to start in your garden, right? So the main point is you're going to find the main plant you're trying to grow in size. So say I'm trying to get a really big spiked mango, for example. So I'm going to start off with the sprinkler method. So you're going to put one of every sprinkler down. And for the spiked mango specifically, if you didn't know, the hedgehogs, I don't have any, but hedgehogs specifically have the ability and passive to increase the spiked plants by, or pokey, spiky plants by about 2x. It literally doubles their size. So if you also use that, they'll by default be bigger. So make sure you try out hedgehogs for the spiked mango. And then additionally, also use the toucan, because I believe the spiked mango would be considered a tropical plant. So it'd also be boosted by the toucan. And then you're going to put down the Mooncat. So the system that we're going to be using is going to be using the, it's a glitch around the save slots, which I'll cover in a second. So what you're going to do is with the sprinklers, put it all down. And you need to also make sure, in general, you have the other save slots. So once you have put down the sprinklers, the pets, and all that by the plant, make sure you do collect it. I'd recommend using the harvesting tool just so you get everything. So you'd harvest all of it, and then you will come over to the save slots, and you're going to load your other garden. So you'll load your other garden just like this. And the reason we're doing this is because it'll allow us to, in essence, manipulate the system. So if it's still here showing, this sprinkler has been in my secondary plot, and you'll even get the loading screen. But all of this goes to show that the sprinklers will work on the background inside a secondary plot. So that's going to come in handy in a second. So that's going to be incorporated. So what we're going to do is also alongside this, if you can, you're going to additionally use the pet gear. So the mutations you want to try to get are going to be gold and rainbow, as always, and specifically gold and rainbow because they're going to have a boost on the pet's passive. Now shining does work, but it's not going to be as good as gold and rainbow. So if you can get gold or rainbow, these will have upmost to a 30% increase on the pet's passive. And then you're also going to use the toys. So the toy is going to give a 1.5x increase. So the medium one obtainable through the gear shop is going to have a 1.5x increase on the pet passive. So say it does 2x the pet or the plant size, it'll go up to double or 3x. So very overpowered, and you should definitely use that. So once you have that, XP doesn't really matter because once again, you level it up high enough as is, get the mutation and the pet gear on it. It'll be really overpowered. But the next thing we're going to do is with this combo working, we're going to have the Mooncat set down. So once you set down the Mooncat, pretty much what you're going to do is put it down, right? And with the Mooncat already down, it'll do what we're going to try to hopefully do. So with the sprinklers in mind, you also do need to make sure you place down all the crap in an area you recognize. So for example, I would recommend doing sprinklers and all your plants specifically on one spot in a corner near the garden swap. So say I knew the moon mango was like in this general area. I want to make sure the cat is sleeping in that general area. And so what we're going to do is you can click E and you can move around afterwards, but we're going to wait and watch. Since this kind of does blur your screen, it's a bit unhelpful, but you're going to wait for the moon cat to do its sleeping ability. Now you'll see a visible circle in the area where it's doing its ability. So what's going to happen is it'll do its little ability. It'll go down, sleep, the circle will appear, and you have approximately a bit over 20 seconds to load in your other garden. Now with hopes, if you're doing this properly, so the more crap you have in your garden, the longer it'll take. So hopefully you don't have a lot in your garden, because it'll make the loading take longer and you won't get hit with that flashbang. So the secondary plot being offloaded works the same as going AFK or leaving the game. So whenever you join in, you'll get hit with your garden grew while you were offline. And so we're going to use this mechanic to advantage if you see where this is going. So what you're going to do is, firstly, make sure you're offline or not in that other garden that you're running this crap in for at least 30 minutes, and I would honestly say nearly an hour. And the reason we're going to do this is because pretty much what's going to happen is with all of these pets down and all this crap, or the sprinklers, they're going to be affecting the plant size, same way the sprinkler method always works. But additionally, we're going to be using the Mooncat, the same mechanic as last time. So after like a bit over an hour, it'll say last loaded. And once it says like an hour or more, you're good to join in. I would honestly recommend the longer the better. So if you can go for like a full day entirely, that would be really good. But what you're going to do is also for the setup, I probably should have mentioned this. Once again, as I said before, the more stuff you have, the longer it takes. But you'll have only around 20 or more seconds to do the switch plots before the pet stops its ability. And then, you know, if you mess it up, you have to go through the whole process again of waiting hours and sprinklers and all this crap. So what I would recommend doing is make sure you, if you can, if you're new to making a new garden, like a secondary plot, make sure if you can delete or only have down the few things you're trying to grind, just so that way, whenever you actually load in, it takes way less time. But whenever you load into the new plot, it should take a little bit, like not too long. So we're going to, for example, note that there's something right in this corner. We have sprinklers all on the plant, right? This is just hypothetical. I actually don't. But say the plant's right here, sprinklers all right there, and then the cat starts sleeping right there. You're going to immediately load your next plot. Everything will load in. And then as it showed before when I switched to the previous one, it's not obviously going to do it on this one since it's only been a few minutes, but you'll get hit with your garden grew while you're offline. And so the plot's fully loaded in. Your garden will grow up while you're offline. That you'll get hit with that loading screen. And then not only will you get the applied effect of the sprinklers and all that, but the original strategy that applied the Mooncat passive will now be applicable this method. So it'll apply the Mooncat ability, increasing the plant size and all that. Once again, only if it's sleeping by the area. And in doing so, you will have your plant by default be way bigger. And once again, if you also have the pet thing on it, the pet ability, it'll by default be over 2 times bigger than it already was going to be. So in doing so, you can make pretty much any plant absurdly huge using this strategy to make beyond billions. And you need to make sure you try to take advantage of this because this mechanic was patched for a reason because it's really overpowered. So there's a very good chance they're going to patch it again. So make sure you do, once again, try to use this as fast as you can. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and I'll see you on the next one.